clairvoyance of being press is limited, and so we rely on press releases. Today is a bit of a mixed bag. We're going to be starting off with an email that I got from Capcom, which is about Street Fighter V, saying Street Fighter V offers sneak peek and free week to PC players. As it says here, today Capcom announced that it will be offering PC players a free glimpse into several new features and enhancements coming to Street Fighter V's Capcom Fighters Network, beginning on March 28th. This trial will be limited to Steam users and will only feature online modes, but will be completely free to play for both current and new players. All available characters, including the recently released Colin, will be unlocked for play. Once the test is concluded, Capcom will make further adjustments to optimize the new CFN and will make the official release to both PS4 and PC players soon after. Basically, all of this is about a opt-in online test, with them adding some changes and some additions and patches to their online modes. Patches include matchmaking speed, ranked and casual loading times, an interactive timeline for the CFN, a friend management system which has a blacklist part of it, a rage quit penalty system, adds to the training mode, Battle Lounge country flags, which is basically highlighting which region they're from for less internet lag, country and league-based ranking filters, the in-game announcer voice will voice stats now, and more detailed fighter profile stats. This is basically just a free mode for new players as well as current players to test out some online multiplayer improvements. That's basically the entire thing. It'll be interesting to see the response from the competitive fighting community to see how these updates do. And staying with Capcom on Wednesday started releasing a making of video series for Resident Evil 7. It is a 4-part series, with the first part being called Part 1 Beginning Hours, which is basically just an introduction to the starting development of Resident Evil 7. As it says here, Part 1 features revealing interviews with Jun Takeuchi, the executive producer, Masachika Kawata, the producer, and Koshi Nakanshi, the director, and explores how the team and the survival horror ideas in Resident Evil 7 Biohazard came about, as well as showcasing a sneak peek on how the Capcom Europe team reacted seeing the game for the very first time. Here is a bit of a snippet part of the video.
私、バイオハザード1の開発も携わっていたんですが、やはりバイオハザード1の時はいかにプレイヤーに近い距離で恐怖を感じてもらえるかっていうところを重視して作っていた。あの当時の感覚をもう一度思い出すっていう作業に近かったと思います。イメージを切り替えるというよりも、もう一度原点の一番最初のバイオハザードはどういうふうに作ったんだろうということを念頭に置いて、そこに頭を戻していくって作業をしながら、もう一度狭くて深いゲームを作ろうと。そしてお客さんの近くで。
Like all things, the link to the full video is going to be in the description, so if you want to see the full part of it, then go to the description and you can find the link there. And from here, we're going to go on to the releases released through Games Press. The first release is an important one because this is about a recall. It is a recall that is being done by Energizer for the Xbox One 2X Smart Chargers. The model numbers are 048052 UK for the UK and 048052 EU for the rest of the EU. And the hazard is the battery chargers can overheat, which can cause damage to the controller itself as well as burn damage. So if you have one of the Energizer Xbox One 2X Smart Chargers, go to www.pdp.com and check the safety recall information there and to have a consumer contact. As for the specific parts of the recall details, they approximate that there is 1,704 of these units within the EU, with 1,464 in the UK, 216 in Belgium and 24 in Germany. This recall came to light with 24 reports of the chargers overheating and deforming the charger's plastic cover, including 6 reports of the chargers emitting a burning odour. And the unit that is being recalled was sold through Argos, BEM and Amazon from February to February, so February last year to February this year. So again, if you bought a Energizer Xbox One 2X Smart Charger, and make sure that the one you have is safe and okay. And moving on from that, we have a press release about Destiny. This is actually an interesting point to start talking about Destiny, as the next update, which is coming up on the 28th of March, so over the beginning of next week, is going to be the last content update for Destiny following the release of Destiny 2 at some point in August. Here is part of the announcement trailer.
The greatest champions of the darkness have stood against you and been defeated. Face them once more. Teach them fear.
Again, if you want to see the whole trailer, the link is in the description. The most interesting part of this release is the fact that it is the last update for Destiny, with Destiny 2 being scheduled for release around August. But the interesting thing around this is what gets carried over from Destiny 1 to Destiny 2. GamesRadar compiled a fair bit of the news and a fair bit of the confirmations that have been made by Bungie about Destiny 2. While a lot of the confirmations are simple things like it is coming out at some point in the full schedule, so some point around August, it is going to most likely have bigger maps, it's going to be around £60 again. The interesting part of this that I found was the fact that the stuff that you have earned in Destiny 1 may not necessarily be carried over to Destiny 2. Given the kind of MMO component to this game, that is a bit of a drag. The main thing that is most likely going to get carried over is your physical player, that being their race, class, gender, face and hair and markings. So the physical embodiment of the player is most likely going to be carried over. But what isn't going to be carried over is your power, your possessions, so that's your guns, your armor and your other physical items, and your Eververse items such as, well, bought items. They say here that Bungie in a statement said, "We believe this is the best path forward. It allows us to introduce the major advancements and improvements that all of us expect from a sequel, ensuring that it will be the best game we can create, encumbered by the past. We're looking forward to sharing more details with you later this year on how we will honor your legacy in the future." So there are going to be more details announced about this game and about carries over, and most likely not carries over, more closer to the release, so probably in the spring scheduling or in the big conference season. And from there we're going to go into two industry stories, with the first one being about the London Games Festival. As they say here, debuting in this year as part of the London Games Festival Fringe, the bonus stage is a brand new indie game showcase featuring 12 hot new indie games from London and further afield. The bonus stage has been curated by London-based developer Joe Bain, who helps run a co-working space for game developers, and is quoted as, "We meet 5 days a week at Loading Bar and have been doing so for 2 years now. The space is free to use, and we have a real diversity of developers. Some of the people behind VVVV, Hyperlight Drifter, Hohokum and A Good Snowman is Hard to Build, and loads more come to work on their next projects, meet other devs, and occasionally drink beer." And so there is going to be a free event coinciding with the London Games Festival Fringe on April 2nd at the Loading Bar in Dalston from 11 AM to 11 PM. And to end, we're going to end with a release from UKIE. As it says here, Coventry and Warwickshire Local Enterprise Partnership launched new strategy for growing local games cluster and the wider digital creative sector. The CWLEP, in partnership with the UK trade body UKIE, has launched Games Industry in Coventry and Warwickshire, Blueprint for Growth. And it goes on saying, the report shows how the West Midlands game sector is a 21st century growth industry, combining economically and culturally to the region's success. Basically what they're saying is that the digital and the gaming sector and the development sector within that area of the West Midlands is greatly increasing, and I sort of understand why. One of the stories we covered last Monday was about the 30th anniversary of Dizzy and the Oliver twins, who manage Radiant Wells, which is in this catchment area. As it says here, among the findings the report includes, "These are highly skilled and productive jobs. The games industry in the West Midlands generated an estimated £224 million in 2015, and it puts a lot of praise on the, as it says, heritage and culture of Silicon Spa, that being the very digital and very computerized part of Leamington Spa." The report makes many recommendations, with many of them being to highlight the industry, to help fund the industry, to help promote and grow the industry within that part of the West Midlands. And so promoting the Silicon Spa is good, and it's, well, increasing the industry in some parts of the country is always going to be very good. And that's it for today. If you found this episode informative, please consider subscribing and sharing the video around, and I will see you next Tuesday for the next Press Rush.